Welcome now to the second installment of the DCU Batman v Superman. So after DC's success, Man of Steel, which still had a lot of mixed opinions, it was still making the DCU go off in a great way. And I don't want to keep talking about the MCU, but I will say that what the MCU did was that they gave all of the heroes their solo movies until the Avengers came out, which put all of them together, made us know who they were, and made us cheer them on when they came together. So, when they tried that out with Superman, everybody was excited, and if they just kept on improving and making movies for other superheroes leading up to the epic crossover, then this was going to be great. And then Batman v Superman came out. Now, this is actually kind of weird, but I do not think Batman v Superman is a bad movie. I do think that it ruined that, and people that hate this movie, trust me, hate it. So a lot of people say how this movie's bad, but it has the name Batman v Superman. So this wasn't just DC fans coming to see this. This was superhero fans in general. Legit. Around my place, people don't really like superheroes. They're into sports, but a lot of people around my school were going to go see this movie. That's how big this was. People I knew that weren't even superhero fans were going to see this movie. That's how big this movie was. Because face it, it's Batman v Superman. People weren't waiting for this type of movie to come out in days or weeks or months. No, people waited years for this type of movie to happen. And now that Batman v Superman was finally coming together, trust me, they knew what they were doing when Batman v Superman was coming out. Now, I would have rather had them put Dawn of Justice than just go with the title Batman v Superman, because you're gonna figure out why. But without further stalling, let me just get into Batman v Superman. So basically, let me talk about the characters first. So this being Batman's first, first appearance in the DCU, now this is what we can judge of his character. He is awesome. I give him that. But he is a slap in the face to a bunch of Batman fans. You know how Batman is very brutal and dark, but he has a strong sense of morality? Yeah. Say goodbye to that with this Batman. This Batman doesn't just kill people. He fatalities them. He uses guns, a Batmobile to blow cars up. He kills people. Like, Batman doesn't kill people. Why in the world is he? I'm not talking about killing people. He's mowing people down in this movie. Like, this type of Batman is not a Batman you want to pick a fight with. And I get why. I like that they're trying something different. But I would have rather had a Batman that does not use guns and beats people up, but does not go too far, than having a Batman just bulldozing people with his Batmobile. So, notice how this is dark. I will get to why it's a bad thing of this movie being dark later. So we got Superman, and basically the Superman is the same thing as Man of Steel. He's basically, he's very lighthearted. He's basically just a very happy person, but he does get serious when he needs to. And then we have, one of the most hated characters in this film, Lex Luthor. Now, I wasn't really a big, I wasn't really that, I don't know, this Lex Luthor didn't really bother me that much. But I can see why it bothered people. Because if I was a Superman fan, a huge Superman fan, and this type of Lex Luthor showed up to my movie, I would have immediately been mad so hard that lasers would shoot from my eye beams into the film. Because that was Superman would feel like if they saw this Lex Luthor coming in this. Let's just say that this Lex Luthor acts nothing like the original did. In the original, he was extremely cunning, he was malicious, he was dark, but he was still humorous a little at the same time. This Lex Luthor just basically gets Joker slapped into his personality, and boom, he's Lex Joker, I guess. Seriously, you don't believe me? Watch it. He legit acts like the Joker that entire film. He makes jokes, he's over hyper, he kills people without and makes fun of it. Legit, this is the Joker. The only thing he's missing is the makeup and the laugh. That's it. Then we get Wonder Woman, who doesn't do anything in this entire film except show up for the final fight. Legit, I think they should shoehorn her in here. It was still pretty awesome seeing Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman working together. And if you think I'm spoiling the movie, well, guess what, pal? It was in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. So basically, Wonder Woman was shoehorned in here. And if you want to talk about shoehorning, oh ho ho, there's so much more fan service to come. Apparently, this is not a spoiler because this is basically like a cameo. But there's this part where we get to see all of the Justice League members. Talking about Aquaman, the Flash, everyone except for Green Lantern, of course. One where we show Aquaman, Flash, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg, and legit, it's not even. Why would they put that all in one movie? So that's basically all the characters I can think of that I can't spoil, at least. Except for Lois Lane, but you know, she's the typical damsel in distress, so there's no need to talk about her. And Alfred, who basically makes the snide remarks the most in the movie. So that's basically all the characters. Now let's get to the final part before the spoiler section, the action scenes. Oh, the action scenes. I would give it to Zack Snyder any day. Whenever he makes a DCU movie, sure, the action scenes are over the top, but oh my goodness, they are gorgeous. And I mean, he must have put so much effort in all these actions. I'm not being sarcastic, by the way. I do realize that I'm sounding a little bit sarcastic. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. These action scenes are wonderful and gorgeous to look at. Heck, if you're not sure about going and seeing this movie, I recommend just going on YouTube and looking at the action scenes and watching the entire full-length movie. The action scenes are just that good. Whenever they appear, you're instantly hyped up to see Batman kicking butt. And even though Batman and Superman barely fought each other in the movie, the tiny bit of when they fought each other was so outstandingly done. And I mean, everything was good. The choreographing, it was just an absolute masterpiece. And yeah, so it had great CGI and great action scenes. So that's basically what I will say about Batman v Superman so far. I will say, however, that there are so much stuff added in here that's not supposed to be in Batman v Superman. And that's the thing that I was talking about earlier. This movie shouldn't be for hardcore DC fans. This should be for any superhero fan, because as I've said, if you have a title called Batman v Superman, this is going to lure in wide audiences, and you want people to be able to see the movie and have a good time watching it, instead of just looking at the movie and be like, who the heck are those people? Why is it so dark? Why are people getting killed? Yeah, they tried to set up too much stuff in this movie, and they should have changed the title to Dawn of Justice, which would have justified Batman and Superman getting little screen time fighting. Then it would have just putting Batman v Superman on the title and having everyone go see it expecting this movie to be them fighting, when surely it's just setting up stuff and them fight for a few minutes. So yeah, this title was so much false advertising, and to be honest, I was initially going to give this movie a 4 out of 5, but I did go back and watch it, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I think it's not that bad of a movie, because trust me, everyone hates this movie, but I will say that I can understand why people don't like this. Like, when I first saw this, I really did not want to believe that this was mediocre. I wanted this to be the best movie I've ever watched. It had my two of my favorite superheroes combating each other, plus a lot of great action scenes. I really wanted to think that this was a good movie, but I went and rewatched it, and I'm very glad I rewatched the entire thing. And I just found myself being like, yeah, this is too dark, too gritty, and I don't think that this is for the right audience. This is why I am giving Batman v Superman a 3 out of 5. It's an okay movie. If you're a diehard superhero fan, then this would be a great movie for you, because this has so much fan service in this and great action scenes, and there's a lot of great moments in here. But just overall, the movie isn't really, I don't know, it's a mess, basically. That's a great word to describe it. It's not a mess as in bad, it's a mess because you got so much stuff going on at the same time, so much fan service, so much setting up, and overall it just falls on its face. Now let's get to the spoilers. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to talk about the spoilers. So Lex Luthor's plan. So basically what Lex Luthor's motivation is people hated this Lex Luthor because they have no idea why he hated Superman. But it's pretty obvious to see why he hated Superman. Well, not really, because I had to watch the YouTube video. But if you watch the YouTube video, then it kind of makes you think clearly on why he hates Superman, and you're like, how come I've never noticed this? It's because that if you've paid attention to the dialogue, which I don't blame you because it was mostly boring, then you figured out that Lex's father was very abusive towards him before he died. And so Lex Luthor blames God for all of this. And so since Superman is here, he thinks of Superman as a god and hates the quote-unquote God because he did not protect him as a boy from his abusive father. So he wants to destroy quote-unquote God, aka Superman, because he views him as the source of his problems and wants to expose him. It's a pretty okay backstory. And then you get the reason why Batman and Superman are fighting in the first place. Now, I understand why Batman wants to fight him. I mean, who wouldn't? He saw a little girl and how her parents got killed just like his because of Superman flying carelessly and killing civilians. Plus, if Superman is outright overpowered, if he wanted to, he could destroy the entire world. And while a normal human wouldn't really want to kill Superman over this, Batman is ready to do whatever it takes, no matter how harsh, to make sure that his city is safe. So if this super alien comes in, destroys a lot of buildings, and kills people trying to save the day, then he will make sure that he kills this alien, especially after that dream that he had, before he can do any damage to the city in case he wanted to. So I get why Batman wanted to fight Superman, but why exactly did Superman want to fight Batman again? Because apparently Superman thinks that Batman is, I don't know, he is a superhero that doesn't go by the law. Superman, if you haven't noticed, you're a superhero that doesn't go by the law. And I think the reason why he hates Batman is because he sees that Batman brands people, because yes, this Batman is that brutal that he brands people. So Superman sees this and he's like, man, Batman is harsh, dude. He's going too harsh on these people. Superman, I think you're being just a little bit of a hypocrite, because I don't know if you have noticed, but you kind of snapped the dude's neck, and even though he was an alien from another planet, you also flew straight into this African terrorist guy and killed him in the process. So you can't really say that you're a saint yourself. So the motivation in this film is kind of weak for what these characters are doing, and Wonder Woman doesn't show up until the final climax just to fight a giant monster. But I mean, hey, she's Wonder Woman, she tries to save the day. So that's basically all the motivations out the way, and now let me talk about Doomsday. So, instead of, I don't know, making Batman and Superman fight each other, they eventually confront Lex Luthor and arrest him in this movie, then basically boom done, and then save Doomsday for a later movie where he actually does some real harm and is more intimidating. Yeah, well, in this movie, Lex Luthor combines his blood with the dead corpse of Zod from Man of Steel, and it creates Doomsday. How does that happen? We do not know. So apparently Doomsday is just here to kill Superman, and he succeeds. And Doomsday was shoehorned in this movie. For a movie called Batman v Superman, this movie should be called Batman v Superman v Wonder Woman v Doomsday v Lex Luthor v Directors v Fanbase. Like, why did they put Doomsday in here? There was no reason to, except for this, to kill off Superman. Even though you could have easily killed off Superman by Lex Luthor manufacturing some kryptonite into making a weapon. Then as Superman comes to save his mom, Lex Luthor kills Superman, and then Batman comes, saves the day, and rescues his mom. Boom, done. Heroic death, done in a nutshell. I don't know why you have to shoehorn the major villain in the final climax just to make that happen, but that was kind of a stupid move. Oh yeah, now that I talked about Superman stuff, yeah, Superman dies. So, not only it only take 2 movies for him to die, but what was the point of having him die if you're just gonna bring him back? We do not know, but I will give them this. His stuff scene was a little sad, but we all know you're gonna bring him back in Justice League. So, I mean, what's the point? And, I mean, I would have been okay with this if he would have stayed dead for a long time and then come back in, like, Justice League 2. Nah, he comes back in Justice League. And don't say I spoiled you, because it's legit in the trailers. For some reason, DCU has a affection for showing spoilers in trailers. So, yeah, and so Superman's death was kind of sad and touching, but it was overall meaningless. So that's basically what I think of Batman v Superman. It sets up too many stuff, tries to force way too many stuff in there, and it's just a hot mess. Which is why I still think it's a 3 out of 5. It's very entertaining, but it's a mess of a movie. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace.